Wysteria, energy twister. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and Phillipine Ghost Stories. So in this episode I'm going to tell a few ghost stories because I've kept most of them just with a single story, which they are quite short. The first one is Postcard from the Past. Rosa and her younger brother, Arsenio, grew up during the Japanese occupation of the Philippines during World War II. During that period, many Filipinos devised secret nonverbal ways of communicating with each other without being detected. After the war, Arsenio would later become a professor at a prestigious university in Manila. He would also sire 20 children from 2 different women. When he retired, he moved back in with his older sister, Rosa. He also had this habit of placing a leaf on top of his sister's mosquito net while she slept, a remnant from their upbringing and signifying that he had left the house to go into town. She would immediately know where he was upon waking without having to ask. These protective nets were an absolute necessity in the province to protect against mosquitoes that fed at night. But he died before she did, and life went on. Rosa woke up one morning, months after his death, and much to her surprise, she saw a single leaf placed on top of her mosquito net, signifying that her deceased younger brother had left to go to town. The next story is The Bridge. Tulay na malamig, literally the cold bridge, in Tagalog, was a bridge on the outskirts of town that connected 2 adjoining barrios. It was also a structure that many people were quite afraid of due to its history. 3 bodies were said to have been dumped over its railing after a well-publicized massacre had taken place at the adjacent barrio. A mayor, a chief of police, and a policeman were said to be the victims. Locals also told of seeing a mysterious female apparition, a floating, disembodied head, haunting the bridge at night near the bamboo thickets that bordered its edges. But in truth, this ghost was a living woman who was just expressing her grief. Helena was heartbroken when she lost her elder son, a doctor, to tuberculosis. But during his funeral, she didn't cry a single tear or express any emotions, bottling up her feelings deep inside. At night, however, she found a way to express her grief, the only way she knew how. Dressing up in black with a shawl over her head, she went to the cold bridge while smoking her cigar and began gathering firewood. Collecting wood near the bridge made sense to her, because below it was the river, and that was where the wood grew from. But her countenance, lit only by the cigar's smouldering embers beneath the black shawl, must have been a terrifying sight for unwitting passerby, who were to be afraid to approach her nightly by the roadside. Thus was the legend born of the ghost that haunted the Tulay na malamig. It was a broken-hearted mother grieving for her son. Oh, that's so sad, guys. So sad. The next story is She Had to Go. Roanna and her family decided to open up a restaurant on the bottom floor of the 2-story Spanish-style building, situated just across the street from a popular bowling alley and adjacent to a store that sold shoes. It was an ideal location to draw hungry customers, even at night. But the building itself already had a reputation prior to Roanna's arrival. Not only was it the past home of the famous national songwriter, the restaurant's waitresses, who lived on the 2nd floor, also reported experiencing unusual events. Light switches turned on and off for no reason, and the staff even heard mysterious footsteps coming from the fragile rain gutters that encircled the roof. Roanna herself called the police to investigate, but nothing or no one was ever found. One night, just as the restaurant was about to close, the cook and the waitresses noticed a woman walk through the front door and go inside the restroom. The workers thought nothing of it, preoccupied with cleaning the tables and filling up the kitchen's water supply for the next day. But the woman remained inside the restroom for an unusually long time, and one of the waitresses needed to relieve herself. "Hoy," she said, knocking on the door. "What's taking you so long in there? We're closing, and I have to use the restroom too." The door opened by itself. When the waitress peeked inside, there was nobody in the room. It was virtually impossible for the woman to have exited the room without being noticed by the workers. The restroom itself had no windows. And that's the end of that tale, and the end to our wonderful Philippine ghost stories. I like them. They're very fascinating, and there's something very honest about them. They're not dramatic or over exaggerated, but real. Like this, you can understand people would tell these stories, and they do come across as genuine stories, and I like that. Thank you for listening, and many blessings. Wysteria, energy, twister.